In today's world, politics and comedy often collide in the most unexpected ways. Sometimes political statements become so unusual that comedians barely need to exaggerate them. And recently, that's exactly what happened when comedians took aim at comments involving former US President Donald Trump and what was jokingly referred to as a little excursion involving Iran. On the well-known British satire program, Have I Got News for You?, the panel wasted no time turning the phrase into comedy gold. The moment the words little excursion were mentioned, the studio quickly filled with laughter as the comedians began imagining what such an excursion could possibly mean in the world of international politics. One comedian opened the discussion with a hilarious comparison. He said that when ordinary people talk about a little excursion, they usually mean something simple, maybe a short road trip, a weekend getaway, or even a relaxing visit to the countryside. But in politics, that same phrase can suddenly describe something happening thousands of miles away, involving complex international tensions and global headlines. The audience laughed as the panelists continued to build on the joke. One of them sarcastically suggested that somewhere inside a political office, someone might have been planning a travel itinerary that went something like this. Let's see. London is rainy, Paris is crowded, Rome is expensive. Oh wait, Iran, that sounds exciting. Another comedian added that political language often works like a clever disguise. By choosing softer or more casual words, leaders can make serious actions sound smaller, calmer, and more manageable than they actually are. According to the panel, this isn't a new strategy. Throughout history, politicians have carefully chosen words to frame events in ways that shape how the public understands them. The comedians took this idea and ran with it. One joked that if this situation truly counted as a little excursion, then the next global crisis might be described as a weekend hobby. Another added that perhaps travel agencies should start offering special packages called geopolitical excursions. Visit the world's most complicated conflicts in just 3 easy steps. The humor kept building, and the audience couldn't stop laughing. But beneath the jokes was a serious observation. Shows like Have I Got News for You are famous for using humor to highlight contradictions in political language. By exaggerating the phrases used by public figures, comedians expose how powerful words can be in shaping public perception. Sometimes a single phrase can completely change how people interpret an event. And when that phrase sounds almost absurd, comedians are quick to notice. The host eventually summarized the entire discussion perfectly. He joked that politics often works like product packaging. The situation itself might be extremely serious, but the words used to describe it can make it sound harmless, almost like a casual outing. The audience laughed once again, but the message was clear. Political satire plays an important role in democratic societies. It reminds audiences that powerful leaders and public statements can still be questioned, analyzed, and even laughed at. In many ways, comedians become unofficial commentators on global events. They take complicated political language and translate it into something everyone can understand, often through a perfectly timed joke. As the segment came to an end, the panel agreed on one final thought. If this truly was a little excursion, then perhaps the dictionary definition of that phrase might need to be updated. Because in modern politics, sometimes the smallest words carry the biggest implications, and sometimes the best way to understand those implications is simply to laugh. Thank you for watching.